So it was a good night for the Labor Party. The Labor Party is the equivalent to the Democratic Party here in the United States. And so Rishi Sunak did concede because Labor really did knock out the Tories. We're going to go ahead and get into this speech here from Rishi Sunak.
Good morning. Could I start by thanking the returning officer and all the team who've been working here at the count and at the polling stations today. You make our democracy possible. I'd also like to thank the police who've ensured that we can conduct this ballot here in North Yorkshire, but also across the country in safety. On this difficult night, I'd like to express my gratitude to the people of the Richmond and Northallerton constituency for your continued support. Since I moved here a decade ago, you have made me and my family feel so at home, and I look forward to continuing to serve as your Member of Parliament.
Yeah, he ends up resigning. But what I was going to tell you is that Rishi Sunak, remember, he comes from a very wealthy family.
It is an enormous privilege. I'm grateful to my agent and constituency team, and I congratulate my opponents here on the energetic and very good-natured campaigns that they have run. The Labour Party has won this general election, and I have called Sir Keir Starmer to congratulate him on his victory. Today, power will change hands in a peaceful and orderly manner, with goodwill on all sides. That is something that should give us all confidence in our country's stability and future. The British people have delivered a sobering verdict tonight. There is much to learn and reflect on, and I take responsibility for the loss. To the many good, hard-working Conservative candidates who lost tonight, despite their tireless efforts, their local records of delivery, and their dedication to their communities, I am sorry. I will now head down to London, where I will say more about tonight's result before I leave the job of Prime Minister, to which I have given my all. I will then return here, to my family's home, and I look forward to spending more time with you all in the weeks, months, and years ahead. Thank you.
So, Prime Minister basically resigning, saying he's going to go down, see the King, come back up to Richmond, while he's been chatting. Tobias Ellwood has lost.
So notice he was not surprised there. Remember, he's the one that called the early election. He wanted this to be moved up again. I felt like that was a strategic move, even if that meant that he would lose his spot. So since Labour did have a decent night and they have won back a lot of these seats, then that would mean that obviously the Prime Minister is going to be someone that is a part of the Labour Party, not someone that's a part of the Conservative Party, which Rishi Sunak is a part of the Conservative Party, the Tories, right? So again, like I said, he did not seem like he was surprised. He saw this coming. He saw it for what it was. I want to show you what the numbers look like for the two parties here. Now, we're going to look at this chart here. Is it going to? Okay. UK election 2024 results, total seats won. So don't get confused by this, American peeps. In the UK, red actually stands for the Labour Party, which is similar to the Democratic Party in the United States, and blue represents the Conservative Party, which is similar to the Republican Party in the United States. So I don't want people to get confused, but their colors are opposite of what we have. So as you can see, the Labour Party, it's 412 plus 214. So yeah, they really did have a big night. They needed 326 to have the majority, as the Conservative Party here, 121. And then you can see the other parties here in between. But obviously the Labour Party, they came out really strong, which would mean that Keir Starmer would become the Prime Minister. Now, before people get excited, Keir Starmer is another corporate propped up WEF puppet another corporate goon. He's not really that much better than Rishi Sunak. They may differ a little bit on policy, but they're both corporate and that's what they protect. They both support the state of Israel. So, I mean, are the people in the UK really getting that much of a difference? The Labour Party, from what I understand, was called the Labour Party originally because it was supposed to look out for the workers. Along the way, it just became like another neoliberal party, just like the Democratic Party in the US once upon a time did look out for the workers, and now it doesn't. So you can see the similarity there. Keir Starmer tends to be a bit of a hypocrite. And Double Down News, they have a video here. I want you guys to see this. It says, "This is the real Keir Starmer the media hides from you. Watch the hypocrisy unfold. This is who people are applauding for becoming the new prime minister. Peep this."
There's a crisis of honesty in our national parliament, and unfortunately, Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, is very little better than Sunak or Johnson. You would be very unwise to believe a word that Starmer ever says.
I'm not going to rank Jeremy Corbyn. He's a colleague, he's a friend. I want to pay tribute to Jeremy Corbyn, who's a friend as well as a colleague.
Was he a friend?
No, I mean, as I say, I haven't spoken to him for 2.5 years.
In 2020, he was a friend, Sir Keir.
He has a long record of making promises, which he then goes on to break.
We have to make the case for the benefits of migration, the benefits of free movement. We don't want open borders. Freedom of movement has gone and it's not coming back. I'm really pleased to be here this morning supporting the staff at McDonald's who are on strike.
Previously, you told your front bench not to cross the picket line. That was for the strikes back in June. Is that something you'll be saying to them again?
Yeah. Air quality, climate change is the issue of our time. And as the Extinction Rebellion protest showed us this week, the next generation are not going to forgive us if we don't take action. I think they're wrong. I think their action is wrong. Get up, go home. I'm opposed to what you're doing. It's not the way to deal with the climate crisis.
So why should you believe a single thing he says in the Labour manifesto, given that when he was running for the Labour leadership, he made a whole series of pledges which he then abandoned?
You made 10 policy pledges for this campaign. Let's see how watertight they are. Can you guarantee that under your leadership, the 2019 Labour commitments to nationalise water, energy, rail, the Royal Mail, they'll all be in Labour's next election manifesto?
I've made that commitment.
Will you nationalise the big six energy companies, yes or no?
No.
Does the way Keir Starmer is governing the Labour Party or conducting himself in opposition to MI5 and the wider defence establishment, Tony Blair.
And he's also accused of being a spy, for those who are not aware as well. This is no different than a Barack Obama or a Joe Biden or a Bill Clinton. I mean, he's all in for the MIC. He supports the state of Israel. He's corrupt. He's crooked. I mean, it's just, to me, it's just they traded one corrupt, wealthy, corporate goon for another one. They're just different parties.
Was like that. But there's a bigger point which is more important. He has accepted the methodology of government, the common assumptions of the political class about how you win and then keep power. The first one of those is that Rupert Murdoch must be on side to win a general election. And so seeing Keir Starmer going to the Murdoch party, a man who spread so much bigoted, false material, done so much to damage British public life, Starmer is forming alliances which are going to turn him into quite a noxious Labour leader because he feels he needs the Tory right-wing press. And it's so sad.
So remember, they mentioned Rupert Murdoch. Remember, Rupert Murdoch, again, is a Zionist. He used to be Piers Morgan's boss. So, right? Another billionaire. That tells you who Keir Starmer really is.
Somebody who knows that we need a change in British politics. We all know that.
This city has been wounded by the media. The Sun in this city, a hurt for this city. And I certainly won't be giving any interviews to the Sun.
Why, Sir Keir, did you write an article for some newspaper the other day?
Would you write for them again, Sir Keir?
I would do, yeah.
But there's a bigger point which is more important. The Labour Party was a great conversation between, it had a left and it had a right wing. These two wings coexisted and it gave a greatness, a generosity to the historic Labour Party. This is going to be a narrowly right-wing party. The left are being kicked out. And this is a feature of Western society and discourse more generally. The amplitude of debate has almost totally gone. You're only allowed to have one opinion. It's got to be the conventional opinion, and the leader will determine it in the case of Labour. And he's got a very effective, unscrupulous group of henchmen to put that in practice.
Well, I know Double Down News has been, heavily trying to criticize that both of these parties were corrupt. The Conservative Party and the Labour Party. I know independent media has been discussing it. And it's just, again, we fall back into the same situation where a lot of us have been exposing how both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are both corrupt and they're bought and paid for. But at the end of the day, a lot of people will still go out and support these two parties because they really do believe that one of these two candidates is going to be their hero. And I always say a lot of the work that needs to be done is going to be done on the local level, whether it's ballot initiatives, whether it's local organizing, whether it's mutual aid. That's where a lot of the things are going to be done on the ground. But I would imagine in the UK, it's a similar thing where people have been speaking out that both of these parties are corrupt, and they do have other parties in the UK. They have third parties. We'll get into a little bit of the data here and there so you can see the difference. But again, I think a lot of people just will typically go out and vote for one of the two main parties.
It's not an appetizing government. If you look back to the Harold Wilson government in the 1960s, you had the left well represented, Tony Benn, you had George Brown, the working classes, trade unionists.
The always colourful George Brown, Dick Crossman and Tom Driver. Antifreeze big shot Frank Cousins, followed by left-wing stalwart Ian Mercado, calculated to make any conference sit up.
That's how it used to be, huh? That's how it used to be. Now, we're going to go a little bit deeper into this because even though the Labour Party did have a big win, I do want to show you the win is not really what you think. We're going to compare the results from 2019 to 2024. Check this out. Election results from 2019. Let's just go to the data right here. Results of the 2019 UK general election by votes. We're going to focus on the Conservative Party and the Labour Party. The Conservative Party received 43.6%. The Labour Party received 32.2%. So hold on to that 32.2. Now, that was 2019. Now, obviously, their percentage is going to be a little bit lower than what we're used to in the U.S. because they do have multiple third parties here. As you can see, there's Liberal Democrats, Scottish National Party, there's the Green Party, Democratic Unionist Party, Sinn Féin, and these were other ones as well, Alliance Party, etc. So they have more. 32.2% of the vote share for the Labour Party. However, for 2024, the Labour Party received 32.2% 2019 to 33.8% 2024. So they didn't grow by that much. So yes, they had a big win against the Conservative Party, but that's a small increase compared to 2019. So that's something people need to pay attention to. What that tells you is that, again, either more people are staying home or they're choosing to vote for the other parties. The way the mainstream media was discussing this, they were like, oh, it was a blowout, Labour, huge win, but they're not showing you the data. How many people came out and supported the Labour Party? 33.8%. And you can see the other results here. 23.7% supported the Conservative Party. Then you have the Reform Party, 14.3%. Liberal Democrats, 12.2%. The Greens, 6.8%. The Worker Party is down here for those who are wondering. The Worker Party of Britain, they received 0.7%. Now, it is a new party, so they're going to continue to fight. But let's make some comparisons. The Greens did increase. If we look at the Green Party in 2019, right here, they received 2.7% of the vote. This year, the Green Party received 6.8% of the vote. So there's been that's a big increase for the Green Party. But the increase for the Labour Party is not that big of an increase. It's a small increase. The Conservatives 23.7. Let's look at what it was in 2019. In 2019, the Conservative Party had 43.6%. So we know that because the Labour Party increase was small. So where else did it go? It looks like it went to some of the other parties, or people stayed home. And I wonder if this is going to be a precursor for what is going to happen this November. We always got to look at the turnout. This is something I think sometimes people don't really want to look at, but this is very important because it's telling you, are people still coming out to vote for that same party, or are people voting in other places? Now, the Green Party in particular, they had a significant increase, but I do want to say the Green Party, they were actually able to get some of their candidates elected into the parliament. I think there were 4 of them, 4 Green Party members that are now in the parliament. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this because, you know, I have my criticism of the UK Green Party because they changed their position on NATO. And I ain't forget about that. So there's Green Party all over the world, but they don't all have the exact same principles sometime. And last year, the UK Green Party had announced that they changed their opinion on NATO. So they are now no longer in opposition to NATO. So is that the reason why they got 4 people in parliament? I don't know. Like, think about that for a second, okay? Because it's a lot easier to get in if you're not going to be critical of NATO. The Reform Party is one we need to keep our eye on. The 14.3% here for 2024. You don't see this party listed for 2019. So that party could also be new, or could have probably taken votes away from the Worker Party, right? Because if you're the moderate position, you're probably either going to vote for the Labour Party, the Conservative Party might be too far to the right for you, or you might end up with the Reform Party. So I'm wondering, there's the Liberal Democrats. So maybe the Liberal Democrats are like the progressives here in the United States, like people who say that they're social democrats, or Workers' Party is to the left of like all of that. So always pay attention to the turnout. So that shows you that the support for Labor didn't increase much. I wonder why, and significantly decreased for the Conservative Party. So that's important to see. That being said, as of today, Rishi Sunak has decided to announce that he has officially resigned. Let's go ahead and see that.
Good morning. I will shortly be seeing His Majesty the King to offer my resignation as Prime Minister. To the country, I would like to say first and foremost, I am sorry. I have given this job my all, but you have sent a clear signal that the government of the United Kingdom must change, and yours is the only judgment that matters. I have heard your anger, your disappointment, and I take responsibility for this loss. Following this result, I will step down as party leader, not immediately, but once the formal arrangements for selecting my successor are in place. It is important that after 14 years in government, the Conservative Party rebuilds, but also that it takes up its crucial role in opposition professionally and effectively. Whilst he has been my political opponent, Sir Keir Starmer will shortly become our Prime Minister. In this job, his successes will be all our successors, and I wish him and his family well, the true source of all our achievements, our strengths, and our greatness. Thank you.
So interesting, huh? Everyone thinks that their country is the best country in the world. Everyone thinks their country is that. Quick correction. Thank you so much for correcting me on this, Dawn. The Reform Party used to be called the Brexit Party. Thank you for that correction. But that's interesting. They got like 14-ish%. Very interesting. So they're actually right-wing populist party then. Boy, I tell you. So Rishi Sunak is out, ladies and gentlemen. So I guess you won't hear me make fun of him anymore. But you will hear me make fun of Keir Starmer. And this is the reason why someone actually said it in the comments. Let me pull it up here. Oh, I thought I saw it. Someone mentioned in the comments that he wants to remove NHS. I had heard that before too. And George Galloway told me about this over a year ago, that they're trying to remove the national healthcare system in the UK and move towards a privatized healthcare system. That's interesting. I wonder how many people are going to want to stay in the UK after that happens, because they're just not used to this. Like, we're used to it here in the United States. I mean, we're used to having high healthcare, or some people not having insurance or being underinsured. We're used to our country not giving everybody healthcare, but they are not used to that. So it makes me wonder. Let's go to some of the comments here. Thank you, Wasim, for the super chat. Sunak has a green card in his pocket to head to California. Arcane said Sunak is moving to Cali now. Let's keep him over there. For those of you watching that live in California, no. Don't bring this. Keep him where he at. Don't come over here. Don't come with that mess. Sebastian said Tony Blair supported the Iraq war. Yes, he did. Thank you, LW. Starmer reminds me of Fauci. Jay Tolbert, they traded one warmonger for another, just like the U.S. Exactly. So you guys see how our countries politically tend to mimic each other, right? Thank you for the super sticker, Heidi. Thank you for the super chat, Wasim. Perfect example of crazy Green Party. Look at Germany, especially when they shared power with socialists, and their crazy warmonger foreign minister is in the Green Party. I criticized the Green Party of Germany, I think it was like over a year ago, because they approved like sending those Leopard tanks to Ukraine. And I was like, what the hell? I told you guys, Green Party is global, but they don't all agree on the same things. Dwayne said, don't let the door hit you in the wallet, Rishi. Okay.